I'm Vicky from Sri Lanka, colleague PL. Actually, PL has come out very strange but very useful. We here in Sri Lanka, particularly for the last 5 weeks or so, going through the agony and then bringing up the real uh, value of material wealth has no use. I congratulate PL for very timely and very useful session of very short. I would love to listen more, and just to say that it's very timely and bringing us as human being where we are heading and what end of the day what we will really end up with material wealth. But as JP said, yes, we need to go ahead and then explore everything. And as Sanjeev, I agree with you, Sanjeev, that yes, we aspire, but end of the day, do your duty to the world and then save environment, and end of the day, it's humanity what matters. Thanks, Pia. Thank you very much for your very nice, timely presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Vicky. Yes, Vicky is SOM 94 and president of Sri Lanka alumni chapter of AIT.
Any more questions from the audience?
There was a past president from Sri Lanka I saw,
Okay.
Immediate past president.
Yeah, congratulations, Vicky.
Oh, thank you very much for your talk. I have one question. We all talked about the changes in the financial industry and the global economy after the last financial crisis. But if you now reflect on it, the changes didn't were that drastical. Actually, most of the investment banking bounced back. We still have subprime mortgage issues going on, even though they caused the financial crisis. So most of the stuff bounced back, even all at the time we all said, oh, this will radically change us. Why do you think this time is different?
Maximilian, I think, as you said correctly, people didn't change from 2008-9. They got back to the same bad habits. I think this time also it might happen if they don't think that this is not good for the world, not good for the environment, and not good for everyone else, all the animals in the world. So if we don't care about others, we don't care about our neighbors, and if we care only of ourselves, that it will come back. But this coronavirus has shown everyone is equal, and even you have a lot of wealth, you have the same question as the person who is on the road. Maybe little difference on material, but I think you're correct. People cannot change. People might go back to the old ways.
Thank you very much.
Just add a few things, and this is a question that many people also are discussing, that human race has a very short memory, and if you look at history, so many things have happened, and every time those very, very major events, and the people just continue. After a while, they forget about that. And recently, especially I've been reading the history quite a bit to see when such things happened in the past and what happened after that. In my personal view, it's too early to tell whether people will really change or not. But one difference from many of the previous events that I have just looked at, including the financial crisis 97, we were in Thailand and it happened, and then also this one more recently. But I think those did not really touch the entire 260 or whatever countries there are, and everybody personal life as much as this one. No one was asked to stay home and like this. So I think the realization was probably not that strong as this time it is, and it affected the industry. It affected some of the countries in a more drastic way than the others. But I think, to me, this is a bit different. Most of the plagues, most of the previous events, they were more localized. Even the world wars did not really affect everybody in the globe, but this one is probably reaching everyone. So I don't know. It's quite different from anything else that the world has seen before. That's my feeling. So it might stay on for a little bit longer than the previous one, but let's see.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Navid. I think it was better answer to Maximilian's question.
We have a question from Mr. Akhtar. Mr. Akhtar, are you there? Yes, Dr. Singh.
Can I have a question, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this pandemic situation, there are a lot of predictions are going on in terms of, as we all know that, and one of the specific area which is
Getting stuck.
focusing that what lessons we are learning from these pandemic situations. So philosophy of the decision maker or the policy makers of the corporate
The question to me, doctor, or
will
to a
moral
decision
and
maker?
ethical issues in the post-pandemic situations.
Yeah, post-pandemic situation, what I see is when you lock down most of the countries, the economic situation. Economically, the countries getting affected in a rather bad way than any other. Even during war, Sri Lanka was open. But now with this pandemic, Sri Lanka is closed. And people who are daily wage earners, who are having some other income sources daily, they don't have any income. Right? So the economic situation will be pretty bad after the end of the pandemic. And in my talk, what I was saying is that you have to think from your heart. What is the why are we suffering all these? How can we reduce our suffering? Because we are greed and looking for more material wealth, and we have material wealth, but we don't have happiness. Right? Is the happiness in material wealth or is happiness in your heart? So if we have to think of it and try to achieve it, on the policymakers side, I am not qualified to comment. Maybe someone else in the system. Faye?
Mr. PL, we have two questions from Mr. Akhtar. He's facing problem with his microphone, so he has just chatted with us. So his first question is work from home found effective in Sri Lanka in this COVID? And his second, yeah, we have just one question from him.
Okay, I think I will give that question. I am now retired, right? I am retired from two banks and at home. But we have a banker who is the CEO of the bank joined our discussion. I think, Paritha, can you answer that question? He was working today also from home.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Actually, now we have been working home for the last 5 weeks. We have been doing a lot of work from home. I would say rather effectively, most of the system type things, system entries, authorizations, all we had been doing from home. I think in a bank, we can do a lot of work from home, but at the same time, with regard to lending, we are not doing this. There is no demand for lending also, but day-to-day transactions we can do from home. But really value-adding activities like mainly lending, the bank is supposed to do, it is not happening. And also there is no demand at the moment. But I think the main issue is in the manufacturing sector. I doubt whether, especially the manufacturing sector in Sri Lanka, whether it is advanced enough to work from home. Most of the manufacturing work is not happening. But service sector, I think working from home is relatively more effective. But I have my doubts about the manufacturing sector. That may not be working actually.
If I can add, thanks, Palika. And the tourism sector, which is in dead, no tourist, the hotels, all the related entities are finding difficult and they can't work from home. They have to work in the hotel or the industry most of the time. I think Mr. Akhtar, some industries, as Palika said, some can cope with working from home, but others will find it difficult.
Thank you, Mr. Pia. We are open for one more question from the audiences, if you have any shares or thoughts.
If yeah.
Yes, Mr. Pia.
If I may share what's happening here in the Philippines, one of the bigger, aside from of course the medical issues, one of the most challenging part is in the supply chain, the food supply chain, how food coming from the regions would reach Metro Manila, and also the goods that have been manufactured in Manila to go back to the provinces. That is, I think, one of the more important requirement that we as technologists in the supply chain should be addressing. And right now there are emergency software that are being created so that national passes are provided, and national single windows are actually now being looked upon positively for the movement of goods between provinces and between countries. So this is one opportunity as well as a problem. This problem has presented an opportunity for us who are actually alumni of AIT. And hopefully we can address this very soon.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Bikendra.
Hi, just wanted to say
Hi.
hi. Thank you for your talk. It was, yeah, of course, very different than what I expected, but I think it's also very timely to make us reflect on the modalities of life we all of us are facing. But I think one point, just a comment I would like to make is also that in these times of disruption, right, the key forward is also be the subject of disruption itself. I mean, one way that you can survive through this crisis personally, like many of us have been suffering through, job changes, loss of clients, and loss of work, personal tragedies, illness, and etc. Is also, I think, be resilient and disrupt oneself. I mean, like Gandhi said, for example, if you want change, you have to be the agent of change yourself. So all individuals have to focus on how we can disrupt ourselves to sail through this disruption. If we are losing jobs, what new skills can we acquire to move into the new normal? I mean, is there anything we can do to help communities? A simple example is, reaching out to people, just talking to them, checking if they're okay. Many of us live in different parts of the world than our families. And I think one phone call to people, our friends and families, to reconnect with them, or teach people new skills and learn ourselves new skills. Personally, for me, I think this is one of the most, I would say, learning experiences, and I felt more energetic. And I would say, despite all these circumstances, and believe in positivity. I believe in the end, human race will get through all this, and we can reach a new normal through resilience and through learning. And as all of us, in a respected position, leading position, or middle managers or consultants or academicians, I think this is the message of change through positivity, through disruption, through learning is the key. I mean, we could all learn new skills and or help each other. And in the end, I think we'll all get through this and be positive, because lots of us are facing very much negativity and drain of energy. A lot of negative news, like bombarding news with media. And like you said, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor.